The Lord Jesus Christ be praised.
Forever and ever.
I'm Henry. I've got pressing news for Lord Ruthard. Take me to him. He's expecting me.
Ah, Henry. Yes. Yes, Sir Kroonslin mentioned you. I'll let you in. Shimek will take you to the Lord. I hope he'll find the time to listen to what you have for him. You're not the first to come to him today, see?
Well, we're here, but you'll have to wait a while. As you can see, Lord Ruthard has an important visitor, and it seems they haven't finished yet.
I understand.
And what now, Martin? Did you speak to Jerome Naz? Will he support us?
He won't. He lent a lot of coin to Sigismund, and now he's stuck with him.
Sakra.
He's scared. As soon as he does anything to upset him, Sigismund will denounce him as a rebel and right off the dead.
Damn it! Has all his counting groschen not left room for a grain of common sense in that head of his?
Jerome is a vain man. I'm sure he's pleased when the Hungarian king himself listens to him. He was boasting that he'll be in charge of some church talks in the Italian court. There is no way we'll change his mind.
But you've been to see other councillors too, haven't you? Have you any good news from anyone?
Unfortunately not. Some of them are beholden to Sigismund for their office, and some are worried about ending up, forgive me, friends, like you and Peter of Pisek.
Christ above! That's exactly what Sigismund wants. To divide us, to paralyze us with fear.
Divide et impera. God knows, that ginger fox is a master of dividing and conquering.
You are absolutely correct, my lady. Especially when everyone can see your problems. I've heard that Mintmaster Vavak is still putting pressure on you.
The devil take that bastard! He had the gall to blackmail me in my own home.
Gentlemen, and my lady, sorry to interrupt, but I have some new tidings about our Mint Master. I've heard about his crimes against the Crown, and it's no trivial pilfering.
Are you sure the accusations are true?
I've got proof of everything.
Ha! God bless you, lad. Finally, some good news.
It seems that this young man came to brighten my day. Who do I have the honor of addressing?
Martin, this is Henry, our ally from Liechtenstein. Henry, this is Sir Martin Oderin, Lord of Rabosh, a loyal supporter of King Wenceslas, as no doubt you've already deduced.
I'm pleased to meet you, Sir Martin. It's good to see that King Wenceslas still has support here.
I'm doing everything I can to keep it that way. You hinted at something, so continue. Convince us that Liechtenstein sent us a capable man.
Sir Kunslin!
Shimek? What's going on?
Minmaster Vavak is heading here with an armed cohort.
Right now? So be it. This matter must be brought to an end. Shimek, place a gunner on the upper floor and a crossbowman on the stairs. Then gather whoever you can find and join us in the yard.
Certainly, right away, sir.
Henry, we're counting mainly on you. I hope your findings are worth a dozen armed men.
100 at least, sir. You'll see.
I'll help you into your armor, Papa.
But quickly, and then go to your chambers and lock yourself in.
What? I'm going with you.
No. So go to your room, take your precious crossbow, and if things turn out badly, shoot any of Voddark's whoresons who stick their noses through the door. If something were to happen to me, you're the next in line in our family. Don't forget that.
I love you, Papa. God Almighty, hold your protective hand above us.
Greetings, Sir Ruthard. Your gate was open, so I took the opportunity for a little visit.
No gate is closed to you, is it? The gates of hell are especially looking forward to your visit. But you're more than well aware of that, eh? Since you don't dare leave home without a horde of men-at-arms.
My men aren't here to protect me, but to enable me to keep order when needed. And today, I got the feeling that order is just what's needed. Or do you disagree, sir?
Weigh your words, sir. One might take them as threats. And be assured, we're very well prepared today for anyone who might threaten us.
Threat? A warning, more like. A friendly warning from the Royal Mint Master. Lord Ruthard, I'm offering you one last chance to surrender your mining rights to me. If we agree, neither you nor your family will have anything to fear. If not, the king will hear of the serpent you nurse in your bosom. And this time, you'll lose not only your fortress, but also your honor and status.
Enough! Do you think you can insult me in my own home? Do you imagine you could do as you please, just because you have Sigismund's favor? That can easily change when the king learns of the serpent you are nursing in your bosom, to cite your own words, sir. Only, considering what I know, you might lose a little more than your honor. Like your head, for what it's worth.
How dare you?
Henry, kindly inform the Royal Mintmaster what is being said about him.
The word is you're in league with Buresh of Krakowitz and Foreman Fett. Together, you've been falsifying the mining records. 1/10 of the silver ingots disappears from the records and ends up in your pockets. That's a capital crime. The king won't let you get away with that, whether Sigismund or Wenceslas.
I'd say this somewhat alters the perspective, sir. So from now on, you will leave me and my family be. Or your king will hear of your shenanigans.
Exactly. We'll see to that. Mark my words.
Are you trying to threaten the Royal Mint Master again? And with nothing but common slander? You haven't learned much since the last time.
Well, we've not had much time for that. We've been fully occupied with collecting evidence. Isn't that so, Henry?
I know about your account ledgers and the ones from Buresh. The real ones, that prove how you carried out this fraud.
You've made up those books. Or do you actually have them on you?
Of course not. Do you think we're completely stupid? We've got copies here. The original books are safely stashed away out of your reach.
Exactly. And if anything happens to us, they'll see to it that King Sigismund and the town council will hear all about Hermes Trismegistos silver skimming business.
So, do you want to chance your luck, or come to an agreement?
Captain,
Sir,
this matter is an internal affair of the Crown and my office. I'll resolve it here with these gentlemen in private.
are you sure, sir?
Yes, damn it! Do what I say! Wait for me by the gate.
Let us step inside. Let's give the Mint Master the privacy he requests.
Gentlemen, I expect you'll keep this entire matter to yourselves. And I expect you'll be wanting something in return.
The executioner is far from here, so I'll be standing in for him today. God knows what kind of man you are. May God have mercy on my soul.
What? You can't just cut down the Royal Mint Master. Wait! We got off on the wrong foot.
I'll give you the wrong foot. Right up your ass.
You're right. I underestimated you. I made a mistake.
You certainly did, sir. A big mistake.
The only question is, how much your mistake is going to cost you.
Don't do anything rash, Kunslin. I understand you're angry, but he could come in useful.
That's true. Intelligent people can always reach an agreement that benefits everyone, and...
You're right. I'm more than angry. Swear you leave me and my family in peace, and our mining rights will remain untouched.
You have my word. I swear it.
Good. You know what awaits you otherwise. If Martin believes you can be of use to us, I'll leave it to him. I'm not in the mood for this.
Right. You said intelligent people can come to an agreement. So let's see. We need to know what Sigismund's planning.
Spy on the king? You can't ask that of me.
It doesn't sound like you want to come to an agreement.
You can't.
We can, and we will.
This is nothing compared to the punishment you're facing for what you've done. Either you agree to this, or Sigismund learns all about it. Then you'd have to run damn far to avoid the chopping block.
Henry's right. So don't even think about double-crossing us. You've a lot more to lose than we do.
And don't forget about your oath either.
I understand. All right, I'll do as you ask.
Excellent. And now get out of my house.
Of course.
I'll take my leave too, Kunslin. I've still got some affairs to deal with today. At least I can see our Mint Master out. I'm sure he'll be delighted to tell me many interesting things.
God go with you, Martin. I hope we'll soon meet again in more pleasant circumstances. Ha ha! Now that was a good one. The mighty Mint Master strode in like a lion, and then crawled out like a whipped dog. Oof. I can breathe a lot easier now we've got rid of that bastard. At any rate, Henry, I'll take those incriminating books. I'll hide them in a safe place, just in case he gets any ideas.
Good idea, sir. Here they are.
Thanks, Henry. You did a fine job, and I'll never forget your help.
Well, you can return the favor right away, sir. You promised to help me get into Malashov.
I did, and I'll keep that promise. There's a secret passage leading out of Malashov, and you could avail of it in the opposite direction.
A secret passage? That's a godsend. Von Bergov won't have an inkling.
He won't. It's well hidden. We didn't even know about it ourselves for a long time, until Rosa discovered it in the fortress one day. She can best explain to you how to find it. She should be in a room. It's up the stairs. You'll see the door on your left.
All right, I'll ask her. Thank you very much, Sir Kunslin.
Don't thank me yet. The worst of it is still ahead of you.
I know what to expect. It won't be the first time. And besides, I have a score to settle with Von Bergov, and I doubt I'll get a better chance.
I hope you know what you're doing. I wouldn't like to be sending you into death's embrace.
Don't worry, sir. I'm no fool. It'll be all over before they know what's happening. And if anyone wants to lay down his life for Von Bergov, I'll grant him his wish.
See if you can do it without bloodshed. It would be nice to see you again. I'll pray for your success. It would help us in more ways than you probably realize.
What do you mean, in more ways?
Isn't it obvious? We've been sitting with our arms folded until now. And where has it got us? We look helpless, and it's difficult to find allies. But if you liberate Lord Capon, right from under von Bergov's nose, the word will spread like wildfire throughout the land, and von Bergov will look like a fool, and he'll lose a strong advantage in parleying. That would help convince some of those who are hesitant about joining us in the fight against Sigismund and the Praguers.
You're right. I hadn't thought of the other consequences. And I reckon even Yobst hasn't realized. Thanks again. As soon as I speak to Rosa, I'll head out right away. I'll get Lord Capon out of Malashov if it's the last thing I do.
You've no lack of courage, son. But you shouldn't count on that alone. Be careful. And good luck. I'll at least look at the books you brought. I'm very curious about what there is on Vavak, and how he did it all.
I wish you a pleasant read. There's more than enough on him in there.
I've got a feeling you're looking for me, Henry.
Your father sent me.
So I can tell you how to get to our fortress. A task for the lowest lackey, wouldn't you say? Well, you don't need to answer that.
Right, yeah. That's exactly why he sent me. But how...
What are you staring at? Do you think I was born yesterday? I was listening to you from the top of the stairs. So, this passage, it leads to the cellars, but the outside entrance is hidden underground in a forest, not far from the castle. You can find the exact place if you know where and how to look.
Is it in a cave hidden behind a waterfall?
Well, no. But it would be nice. Listen, nearby Malashov is a stud farm managed by Hashtal, an old friend of Papa's. We had a wayside shrine set up at the crossroads before the stud farm.
A wayside shrine? How do you mean?
Are you a Christian at all? Never mind. It's a big white column. You can't miss it. From the shrine, you should be able to see a group of boulders. Beyond them are the remains of an old chapel. You have to find it, and then there's a kind of... how can I describe it? A window. A gap you can look through.
If it's still standing.
I hope so too. Anyway, it should direct you towards some ruins. Go there. And now pay attention. Somewhere in those ruins is a stone cross. You have to find it and look where its top points to. If you go the way the cross is pointing, you'll find another one, and again follow the direction it's pointing in. That should lead you to a small clearing, marked by a cross in the rocks. You dig there, and you should get to the passageway.
That's a really cunning solution. No random fool would ever find it.
That was exactly my intention when I thought it up. Thanks, Henry. I think you're no fool, so you shouldn't have any trouble. And that's not all. Getting into the castle is the easy part. Don't forget, you have to get out too.
You're right. Horses will be needed. For me and for Capon.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Fortunately, I know how to arrange that. Stop off at the stud farm I told you about, and ask Hashtal for horses.
Where's the catch?
No catch. On the contrary, please tell Hashtal that Papa is still paying for masses for his dead father, as agreed years ago. And even if he's not too keen, tell him we'll pay him for the horses.
You got it well figured out. Thanks. Don't know how I'd manage without you.
You've done plenty to help, and now it's our turn. Papa said something like that, didn't he? You know, you might not be aware of it, but you saved us from a mountain of trouble. Papa would never admit it, but alone, we wouldn't be able to resist the Mint Master for long. You've earned the right to the gratitude and friendship of our house for all time.
Would you like to come with me? At least I'll be sure to find that place.
Would you seriously want me there? What if something were to go wrong? Wouldn't a girl like me be more of a burden to you?
Well, you wouldn't be a burden to me. Quite the opposite. I've already seen you know how to take care of yourself.
Thank you, but I can't go nevertheless. Papa would jump out of his skin if he even heard of such a thing. That's why I would like to ask you for one favor, but you mustn't breathe a word of it to anyone. Understand?
I'm listening.
I wanted to ask you, since you're going to be at Malashov, if you could bring me something from there.
And what might that be?
A book. It has great value to me, and I was starting to worry it would stay there forever. But if you're going there now...
And what book is this that's so important?
It's hard to explain to someone uninitiated in the mysteries of writing.
What do you mean, uninitiated? I happen to know how to read.
Really? Mea culpa. You are full of surprises. So if you do find the book, you'll be able to read it.
Well, yeah. That's the way it goes with books.
In that case, I'm not going to make it easy for you. If you'd like to know why it's so important to me, you'll have to find it first.
Fear not, my lady. I'll gladly tear the entire fortress apart to find that book for you.
Restraint, valiant knight. I value your determination, but this way would give yourself away immediately, and I'd remain without my book. Find it nice and quietly, then come back.
Your wish is my command.
It shouldn't be hard. The book is bound in scarlet leather and inlaid with gold. You won't find many like such there. And take this, so you don't get lost in the fortress.
Thank you.
It is quite possible you won't get back to Malashov again. So don't forget about me. And Henry, be careful.
How can I help you, sir?
The Ruthard sent me.
What's that to do with me? Those days when Ruthard was the Lord of Malashov are over. I don't want to have anything more to do with him, so you can be on your way.
He sends you his regards. And he asked me to remind you that he's still paying for masses for your family, as the two of you agreed.
Sakura. Nobody knows about that but him.
That's why he told me. So you'd be sure I really did come from them, and this isn't a trick.
Well, that changes things. Sorry for being a bit hostile-like, but times are tough. A man can't be sure of anything. Good to hear that Sir Kunzlin still has a few friends left. Give him my greetings, and thank him for still honoring our agreement.
Sure. I'll pass that on to him.
So, tell me, what did the Ruthard send you for?
I'm planning a certain enterprise. Something that the new lord of the castle certainly won't be happy about.
An enterprise, you say? I reckon it's best not to ask what that might be, eh?
That would be wise. And I need you to get fresh, fast horses ready for me.
That's quite a lot you're asking of me. A fresh, fast horse don't come cheap. But fine, since you're from Sir Kunzlin, I'll have it ready for you. Somewhere a bit further from here so I don't get in the shit if things go sideways.
Of course. The last thing I want is to endanger you unnecessarily. And the Ruthards promise to pay for the horse if it comes to any harm.
All right. So look, here next to the stud farm, there's a kind of band of rocks below the forest. When you go alongside the rocks to the end, you'll find a wooded copse not far from the castle. There's a well-trodden patch of ground there, so that's where I'll have that horse ready for you. Hopefully, nothing will happen to him if I just leave him there. Recently, there's been wolves and wild dogs sniffing around here, so we have to watch out for the animals.
Thanks. I'm obliged to you.
You ought to be. I wish you the best of luck. I reckon you'll need it.
Quick! Quick! Whoa! Whoa! This must be the chapel Rosa was talking about. I was supposed to look through its arch for some old ruins. Well, let's see. The chapel directed me here. There's no doubt about that. So somewhere around here, I have to find a stone cross, and then go in the direction the top is pointing. Sick! A cross in stone. This could be the place Rosa mentioned. I'll grab the spade and see if I'm in the right place. Ugh, a tough job, but it was worth it. The way to Malashov is clear. Damn it, that's cold. This looks like it could be the wall of the Malashov cellars. There's no going back. This is it. All right. Courage, Henry. Courage. You can do this. This is going to take a while.
And Ruthard and Liechtenstein are turning the Kuttenberg houses against us.
Bavag will deal with Ruthard. But Liechtenstein is your concern. How come you haven't caught him yet?
He's slippery as an eel. He's hiding somewhere in the Jewish quarter. I sent spies to track him down, but they never came back.
Flush him out of that hole of his. For fuck's sake!
Why such concern, Otto? Kuttenberg is ours. Sigismund has the reins firmly in his hands.
He's got fuck all in his hands. Sigismund thought at first he'd come to terms with his brother Wenceslas. Clear the way for him to the imperial throne and take the Bohemian throne for himself. But Wenceslas couldn't even get off his drunken ass and go to Rome for the coronation. And now, the glorious Hungarian king has fallen for Jobst and his damned truce. He's been taken in by that treacherous turncoat.
Jobst betrayed Wenceslas. Then Sigismund, and now us. He fooled all of us. But what can he really do against us? Hmm?
I'll tell you what. While pretending to parley, he incensed the Hungarian nobles against Sigismund.
Surely Sigismund's army can deal with that inconvenience.
Ha! He was paying his Cumans by letting them pillage Bohemia. He set half the people against him in the country he wants to rule. And now, there is nothing left to plunder. While we are shuffling our feet here, Jobst is surely mustering an army.
What are we going to do?
We've got Cabon. That'll keep Hanush and the Lipa people at bay. If they ever want to see their heir alive.
Jobst has Liechtenstein mustering other allies for him. We get him in our grasp, and Jobst will be like a fish out of water in Bohemia.
I'll drag him out of that Jewish den with my own 2 hands. Count on me, sir.
The betrayers of Christ, hiding a betrayer. They are rich. All that's needed is a good pretext.
The Kuttenbergers will be quite happy if their debts to those usurers happen to go up in smoke.
Yeah.
You're learning fast, young man.
Keep the gate open.
A horseman, sir!
Hanush is out of the game. The Kuttenbergers are taken care of, and we'll catch Liechtenstein. You'll see, my friend. Good times are coming.
Your Graces, King Sigismund is convening the town council, but first he requests your presence at the Sedlitz monastery, without delay.
What's all the urgency about?
Surely you must know that yourself, sir. The captives fled Trotsky Castle and killed Istvan Toth while escaping.
What? That's not possible. That's a lie.
It is true, Lord Toth is dead.
Who? Speak!
The messenger said something about Cobbler's bastard and some outlaws.
I swear, by everything that is holy, I will find that whoreson, and I will rip out his heart! Jesus. What's with that boy?
Sir Istvan was like a father to him. We better go. Bring the horses!
Shame about that dog.
Lord von Berghoff
Luck was
had
on
to
my
leave on
side.
important
Now to
business
find
for King
Capon
Sigismund.
and get out of
He
here.
took a small escort with him. So the garrison is slightly weakened now. So, be extra alert on your watch. If I find anybody slacking off, they'll get the whip. You got it. Yepo, I'll send Hyman to the gate. You'll be in charge of the southern... important business for King Sigismund, and he took a small escort with him, so the garrison is slightly weakened. So, be extra alert on your watch.
Worry, it's already taken care of. I saw her taking it.
That woman must be the only one.
What? Enemy in the fortress! Sound the alarm!
Aren't you supposed to be keeping watch or polishing the armor somewhere?
Conrad sends us to keep
Who
watching.
could have done it?
I think you're just holding up here. I'll ask him first thing tomorrow and see what he tells me.
Eh? I must be mad. To hell with it.
I feel a little sorry for her, with nobody taking her seriously around here. She's some third-rate daughter of some lord from who knows where, so she was actually quite lucky. Old Otto took a liking to her. Everybody knows where.
What is happening? Who are you?
Quiet. If you make a peep, we're done for.
Henry?
Good God, Henry.
What are you doing here?
What do you think I'm doing? Hunting boar? Came to save your noble arse.
My noble arse thanks you. Oh, how did you get here?
I'll tell you later. Who's this?
Vauquelin Brabant, Chevalier d'Arezzo. At your service.
Brabant led the defense at Kuttenberg. He's Sigismund's prisoner, same as me.
And I came very close to holding the town. Besides...
There's no time for chit-chat. He's our ally. We can't leave him behind. Right, no doubt you've got a cunning plan for us to get out of here, right? Well, let's hear it.
Of course I have a plan. Listen, I got to the fortress through a secret passageway that old Ruthard told me about. Von Bergov knows nothing about it.
C'est magnifique! Very cunning.
And so far, the garrison has no idea I'm here. We're lucky Von Bergov left the fortress along with Von Aulitz and some of the garrison. So I'll take you to that passageway, and we'll get out of here. We'll get to the forest not far from here. I have some horses ready there. We'll be gone before you can say the Lord's Prayer.
Formidable! I call that an elegant plan. I myself had to sneak like that once during the siege of Arezzo. So, what are we waiting for? On y va!
Wait. A passageway, you say? A dark, narrow passageway?
Well, it's just a passageway. There's a bit of water in it to wade through, but nothing we can't handle.
You can forget about it. I'm not going through any passageway.
What?
Let me repeat. No passageway for me. It's not the chivalrous way.
It is not chivalrous, c'est vrai, but in our situation, it is more than delicious.
Fuck chivalry now. That passageway is the only chance we have of getting out of here alive.
Well, in my opinion...
Fuck your opinions. No. Just no. I mean, we'll all suffocate in that passageway. Or it'll fall on our heads.
What's gonna fall on us, damn it? If I got in that way, we can get out, too. It's completely safe. So stop acting like a madman and let's go.
I can't do it. I'm afraid of small, dark spaces. Ever since that tower fell on me in Nabokov, and I was stuck under the ruins, I just can't. I'm sorry, Henry. There has to be another way.
Have you come up with some ingenious plan for getting out of here? If so, I'd really like to hear it.
What do I know? We could maybe break down the gate.
Un moment. Henri? You said that Von Bergov left. Is that not so?
Yes.
And what about horses? Are there any horses left here?
I think there's a couple, yeah. In the lower courtyard.
Très bien. That will be enough. We just have to get to them. But I think we could get there stealthily. It is not far from the tower to the stables. Then you simply open the gate, et voila, we are gone! Just like I escaped when surrounded by that English dog John Oakwood. It may not be the best plan, it was not back then either. But we simply have no other choice. Time has passed, the fortress is quiet. I believe that most of the garrison has gone to sleep, which plays in our favor.
That's a wonderful plan! No passageways! But we need some weapons.
Exactement, to have a proper piece of steel in my hand again. Preferably Milanese, although I would be satisfied with something local.
Thanks, Henry. I feel better already.
A nice piece. And what do you have for me? Merci mille fois. Now, I will show them just what a Cavalier Vauquelin Brabant is.
Good work, Henry. What now?
I'll go ahead and scout it out. When there's a suitable moment, I'll let you know and you can head out.
And how will you let us know?
Well, the stables can be seen from the entrance hall. If you signal us with a torch from next to the horses, we'll head towards you.
Agreed. Good idea. Wait for my light.
But you must be absolutely certain that the way is clear. If you have any doubt, do not risk our lives. Better to come back to us, and we shall go together.
True. And if we don't hear from you or see your signal for a long time, we'll try to make it on our own.
Précisément. We cannot sit here forever.
Right. Got it. I'm off.
Brabant, keep...
What? What's that? Enemy in the fortress! Eh?
The horses are here. As soon as it's safe, I should give Capon the signal. Well, that's that. Now I just need to wait for Capon. Lord Jesus Christ, stand by our side.
Eh? What?
What's that?
I must admit, mes amis, the last time I have had such a suspense was when I was rescuing the King of France.
Oui, monsieur, you were surely brave. And fortune favors the brave. Free at last!
Thank you for coming for me, Henry. You're a great friend. The best I could wish for.
After today, you may also count me among your friends. I, Vauquelin Brabant, chevalier, aventurier et voyageur. I'm at your service, mon brave Henri. And I have an excellent idea. In your honor, I shall name my new horse after you.
Pleased to meet you, Sir Vacula.
My name is Vauquelin.
Vauquelin?
Vauquelin. Vauquelin.
Vauquelin... would you mind if I just call you Brabber?
Brabant. En.
Brabant?
Que peut-on y faire? It will have to do. Do not concern yourself, mon ami. Clearly, you are not talented in the art of conversation. But at least you have courage and other skills. You carried out the entire operation truly brilliantly. I could not have done it much better myself. And look, mon ami, how the fresh air suits Monsieur Chapon. He has finally stopped drawing in self-pity.
What self-pity, damn it? I was locked up for days in a tiny stinking room.
Ah, come now, mon cher. Luck was simply not on your side for once. That is all. Now we are finally free. The time has come for grand deeds. I did not waste my time in captivity. I fought everything over diligently. Listen.
Please, I'd prefer not to.
Très bien. I shall wait until your humor has improved. Quoi qu'il en soit, do not hang your head. Things shall be looking up. Mes amis, nous sommes libres. We are free. That is an opportunity we must seize. I still have enough tricks up my sleeve that I will perform for Sigismund now.
But first, I need to get good and drunk.
C'est facile. I know how it can be arranged. There is one very pretty vineyard nearby. The owner has been my friend since the time I...
Don't start. We should spur the horses on. God knows, they might be hot on our heels. Yeah! Christ, wounds. Such destruction and havoc.
War. Monsieur Chapon, you have yet to participate in a real battle. But I fought against les Valaques at Naples, and les Anglais in Bourgogne. And that is how war looks, whether in Italy or La Bohème. It is always the same.
That's not war. It's barbarism. What value did this village have?
Eh bien, I would estimate 5 courtyards. Annual revenues could be perhaps, several hundred groschen.
That's not what I meant, Vacalin. No fortress. Maybe one fortified courtyard. practically insignificant militarily. That's not how war should be fought. This is unjust.
Do not give way to sentimentality, monsieur. A village could harbor spies and saboteurs or supply the enemy, and destroying enemy assets is an effective tool of war. Wars are not decided only in battles. There are not even many of those. To strike in the rear, make the enemy lose and bleed. That is how most conflicts are fought. However, wait a year or two, the village will be settled. The population will increase again. That is how it always happens.
But we're the nobility. Our task is to lessen the chances of such things happening.
You're right, Hans. We must find allies and put a stop to it as soon as possible, so we can save as much as we can.
Yes, but we failed in Trotsky. And now this is our punishment.
I see that short captivity has turned you into a philosopher, Lord Capon. You should apply to the Faculty of Arts before the muse lifts you again.
Yeah!
Of all the bandits in the whole wide world, we run into this pair of scoundrels.
I fucked everything up.
Oh, get up, lad. Everyone makes mistakes. Only a better man owns up to them. At least we know now what kind of vermin we're dealing with.
What brings you here? We just escaped from Malashov, and right now
There's no time for haste. One thing at a time, my boy. Word reached Rat-Eye that you pair got yourselves into a nice mess. I'm glad to see you both in one piece. So, let's hear it. What happened?
It's best if Henry tells you. I wasn't around for half of it.
no sooner had we spied Trotsky on the horizon than everything started to go to hell. We made camp by a pond with the intention of heading for the castle at first light, only we were ambushed by bandits in the evening. They killed all our men and took everything they could carry, including the letter for von Berghoff.
And how did you two manage to get out alive?
Just by a stroke of good luck. We were both in a bad way. We might not have made it if a local herb woman hadn't taken care of us.
Only after that, we couldn't get into the castle, though. We looked like a pair of beggars.
And the bastards treated us as such.
But you did get into Trotsky in the end, didn't you?
Von Berghoff received us and heard us out. It seemed like he was on our side. We even helped him out several times. Until we found out he was just stringing us along. It all came out after we set out with von Berghoff's men to deal with the bandits who were rampaging in his domain. The same ones who attacked us at the start.
Only they ambushed us and took me and Henry captive for ransom.
But it turned out these very outlaws are on our side. They're fighting for King Wenceslas on the orders of Sokol of Lamberg.
Well, I'll be damned.
So von Berghoff has been the real enemy all this time. And Zizka is actually our ally.
Zizka. He's the captain of those outlaws. That name doesn't ring a bell.
I think you'll meet him soon enough.
What impression did he make on you?
He's some impoverished yeoman. But he's handy in a battle, and he helped us when we needed it.
He made quite an impression on me, for one. I'll be happy to see him again. But if only it didn't have to be in Rabosh. Why Rabosh? Of all the places in the world.
We're riding to a gathering of King Wenceslas's supporters. If fortune favors us, the future fate of the kingdom will be decided there.
If we keep standing around here gabbing about it, it'll be decided without us.
Patience, my friend. This pair have just returned from the clutches of the enemy. No doubt they have something to tell us.
Like how in the devil did you manage to escape?
I was helped by the Ruthard family, the former rulers of Malashov, in exchange for dealing with some trouble they had with Ulrich of Raditz.
Ulrich Favak? But he's the Mint Master.
Well, he won't be for long, if it comes to light that he's been putting his sticky fingers on the royal silver.
It seems you've been pretty busy.
But don't forget to say what you found out from von Bergov in Malashov.
Sigismund has convened the city council. Markvart von Aulitz will be there with him, too. The word is, Sigismund is going to make an important announcement there.
He picked a nice time for it. But at least he won't be sticking his nose into what's going on around.
Can we go to Rabosh with you? We could certainly use a drink, a bite to eat, and a comfortable bed.
I wish I could say yes, son, but the city council assembly is a big opportunity. Young Lord Capon will go with us to Rabosh, but you'll have to return to the city right away, and try to worm your way into the town hall.
What? How can I get in there? I can't just walk in off the street.
You've got the dirt on Vavak, and you don't know how to use it? Just tell him either he gets you into the council chamber, or you get him on the gallows.
It's worth a try, right?
I hope that assembly really is important. If Sigismund is just going to announce an increase in taxes, there's not much point in my being there.
Well, at least you can enjoy watching the long faces of the councillors when they hear it. And don't worry, I'll eat and drink in Rabosh on your behalf.
If I come back and find you there under lock and key again, I'll leave you to rot.
T'inquiète. I will go as well, and I will not let your friend out of my sight.
Hans? Who's this?
Vaclin Brabant, Chevalier d'Arezzo, at your service.
He was a captive of Lord von Bergov's, like me. He defended Kudenberg against Sigismund.
In that case, he'll be a welcome guest at Rabosh.
You don't know what you're promising, Baron. Watching Sir Hans is a job and a half.
The main thing is to watch out for yourself, Henry. As soon as you can do so without raising suspicion, come and join us.
He'll manage it, but now we really need to hit the road.
Safe travel, Henry.
Adieu et bonne chance.
And to you. Hopefully we'll meet soon. I ought to go and see Rosa when I'm in town. No doubt she'd like to know how it went with that book. By the way, like you were saying about that book,
My favorite book? Pray tell, did you find it?
as I wandered through the fortress, I stumbled upon von Bergov's chambers, and there it lay. Red leather, gold inlay, just as you said.
You really found it? Thank you, thank you, thank you! By the way, did you have any time to leaf through it and see what it's about?
Actually not.
That's too bad. I think you would like it. And perhaps even learn a thing or two.
Why do you think so?
I just think you might find some common ground with the author. Not in absolutely everything, of course. That's just not possible. But in basic matters, I believe you'd agree. Look, you've never thought about writing something.
Me? And what would I write?
How should I know? Poetry, a novel, a treatise, or a whole book?
That's a tempting notion. Who knows? In another life, I might have become a writer.
Wouldn't you want to at least give it a try?
I suppose I'm not quite sure where you're going with this.
There are still a few blank pages left, so we could finish writing it together. You and me. What do you think?
That sounds great.
We'll have plenty of light and privacy in my chambers. Will you escort me?
My pleasure.
How should I start?
You haven't thought of anything yet?
Now, I have many ideas, but we must contribute in equal part.
Both? Well, fine. And what should I do?
Just tell me what you'd like to read about. A tale of a man or a woman? I'll take careful notes of everything.
There are heaps of stories about men, so I propose one about a woman.
All right, a woman then. But I'd need to know more about her.
Such as...
Tell me one trait that is important for you. What would impress you in a girl?
I think above all that she should be clever.
And isn't that rather detrimental for a girl?
To the contrary. Clever girls are far more entertaining than dumb hens.
So you simply divide us all into clever girls and dumb hens?
Why do you make everything about yourself? I thought you wanted to write, not quarrel.
Very well. Forgive me. But it wouldn't hurt to choose your words a bit more carefully. But if the lady in our story is clever, should she employ her wits for good or evil?
I'm for good intentions. If we come up with an interesting woman, it would be a shame to write her as evil.
I agree. Too bad it's only on paper. I'd like to meet our lady in the flesh. Well, just about finished.
Well, let's have a look.
Not yet. Something's missing.
What?
A picture. I don't trust myself with proper illumination, but I think I can handle a sketch, especially if you'll be my model.
What? And what on earth do I have to do?
Imagine a beautiful lady is standing before you, and you are courting her. What would you do?
I'd rather keep what I do to myself. But how about something like this?
Well, now we're done.
Oh, finally. I'm sore all over.
Your suffering is over. Come take a look at what we've done. Your reward. So what about that story of ours? Tell me your impressions.
Too bad there aren't more books like this. If there were, I might end up turning into a scholar.
Really? I'll take that as the highest possible compliment. And what about the sketch? For such a slapdash job, it's not bad, right?
Oh, it's pretty, really. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
I know I'm no master illuminator, but otherwise, I think we can be quite satisfied. And thank you for the help. I really enjoyed it.
Well, so did I. And for that matter, you're an interesting girl, and I'd like to get to know you a little better.
No beating around the bush. How about that? Please do stop by sometime. I wager it will be enlightening for both of us. Perhaps I can show you my collection of hunting trophies.
going to see the Mint Master. May I enter?
Any fool could say that. What do you want from him?
I have an appointment with him.
All right. Go ahead then. But don't waste too much of his time.
Glad to see you again.
You have the gall to show me your face again? I'll call the guards.
Hold your horses. I'll come in peace. Actually, I have a little offer for you.
You've come to blackmail me again?
Call it what you like. I need to get into the City Council Assembly, and I reckon you can help me.
The Assembly? The one King Sigismund is supposed to attend in person?
Surely you wouldn't deny me a chance to meet the king?
Don't try that on me. This is connected with Ruthard, isn't it? And tell the truth.
I want to know what Sigismund tells the council. I hear it'll be important.
You want to spy? Do you know what you're risking? And what I'd be risking? Forget it.
Have you forgotten I have you over a barrel? If you want to keep your position and your head on your shoulders, you better shape up.
All right, all right. Maybe we can make a deal. If I get you into the council, you'll behave appropriately and you won't betray yourself, or especially me. And that will be the end of our business together.
And how about a few groschen to seal our fruitful relationship?
You're worse than a horse dealer. Have it your way, then. You can get into the council assembly relatively easily. My cook's son will be serving there. He's roughly around your age. Maybe he can be persuaded to let you stand in for him. Although, not everyone would want to give up an opportunity to serve the King of Hungary.
Who's this boy?
Franta's his name. Franta Cooldown. He's an idler and a boozer, but he's proved his worth as a waiter. Which reminds me, you'll need his letter of permission to serve in the council. Otherwise, you won't be let inside.
What will I need to work as a waiter there?
Fast feet and good manners. And the livery of a royal waiter.
Excuse me?
Do you think you can serve the king in a torn shirt and muddy hose?
Well, no. But I never heard about any livery before.
Our usual waiter had a brand new livery made specially for meeting the king. Don't even show up there without it.
What would work on him? How can I persuade him to give me his job?
Would you like me to give you a letter for him? I told you how to get to the assembly. Now do your part.
Where can I find the cook's boy?
He's supposed to pick up his new clothes at the market today from Master Tailor Schneider. You'll almost certainly run into him there. That is, if he's up and about after his boozing bout. I swear that fellow practically lives at that Tin Hen.
At the what?
That German alehouse, the Iron Eagle. That is Zum Eisernen Adler.
I'll be going then. See you at the council.
Just make sure we both come out of it alive.
Greetings. I'd like to...
Surely you can wait a while. I have a customer here. Here you are. The finest fabric. Intricate work. You won't find the likes anywhere else in this town.
No more than I'd expect after the amount they cost. Thanks. I'll gladly recommend you if anyone asks. And you impatient fella, what was it you wanted?
You must be Franta Cooldown.
I am. And who might you be?
I'm Henry. I heard you're supposed to serve at the City Council Assembly.
I am. What's it to you?
Supposing I took the job on for you. You can put your feet up, fill your belly, and I'll do all the work for you.
Look here. It's not like I'm all that keen on it, but it's well paid. Apart from that, it's a bit of a pain in the arse. Them councillors stuffing their faces and guzzling wine, while I run around like a bugger with pitchers so they don't run dry. Why would you want to stick your nose in there?
I just have to get in there, understand? I have an important message for the king about a plot against him.
But why would you want to get to him as a waiter?
But it could be that someone from the council is mixed up in it, so I have to be incognito. See?
I see. All right, then. To begin with, you'll need confirmation that you've worked as a waiter at the council and you're capable of serving even His Majesty. Look here. Do you have any idea what's expected of you? Can you tell different wines apart and that?
Of course. Who do you take me for?
All right. No need to get upset. Show the confirmation to the head butler. Tell him I sent you and think up some good excuse. Clear?
That makes sense.
And you'll need a waiter's livery. I had a brand new one made. Here it is. I look like a prick in it. Hopefully it'll sit better on you. The main thing is, don't lose it before the assembly.
Thanks. I won't disgrace you, I promise.
You better not.
Take a gander. We've got it all.
Franta Cooldown sent me. I'm to stand in for him at the council assembly.
Franta's not coming? What's wrong with him?
He got as drunk as a lord. Totally pie-faced. Then he fell into a ditch, and now he's staggering around the streets, God knows where.
I might have expected. Once, he turned up with a hangover, and as soon as he smelt wine, he threw up all over the chapel door. I told him if that ever happened again, he was for the boot. Oh, well, you'll have to take his place for today. I've no time to find someone else. We can't be without a waiter here, when the king himself will need waiting on. So, let's have a look at you. Have you got Franta's certificate?
Sure. Here it is.
Everything's in order. Now, about your livery. You know a good waiter by his properly seated cap, and you don't have one at all. Without a tunic, you're no royal waiter, just a common alehouse boy. And have you forgotten your hose? I can't let you into the chamber without them. You can put your steel aside in front of the council chamber, along with your other stuff. You won't be needing it anyway. You don't want to be dragging a load if you're running around tables. The royal waiter's livery has strict rules. So get changed quick and come back on time. A tunic you have? Hose are good. It's a good thing you've got no steel on you. You need to be light on your feet to run around tables. Everything as it should be. Glad to see it, lad. Do you know what your duties are? For an inexperienced greenhorn like you, it'll be a great responsibility.
Well, I'll happily listen to any advice. I wouldn't want to foul things up.
I should certainly hope not. Now listen. A good waiter should stand in a corner, look willing and ready, and not get in anyone's way. In short, behave as if you're not there. But when one of the gentlemen calls for wine, you run and pour it for him on the double. You'll find the pitchers on a table by the door to the chapel. You take one and go to their table and pour for them. White Tokaib or red monastery wine.
White or red by the door to the chapel. Got it.
But for Councillor Adam of Zarjitz, you must not pour at all. When he drinks, he disrupts and makes trouble. So the assembly has to be interrupted, or otherwise it never reaches an end. We can't allow that to happen in the presence of the king.
All right. Sir Adam of Zarjit stays dry.
And if the king himself wants wine, you pour for him with lowered eyes. Don't look at him. And the most important thing?
To stay in the background and keep quiet until someone asks me something?
Correct. The councillors have a lot to discuss, and they certainly don't need any interruptions. And in general, a good waiter has to be invisible, blind, and deaf.
Oh?
I thought I had to keep my ears pricked.
Well, yes, but only to what anyone wants from you. No excuses, and provide everything that anyone wants from you. Understood?
Absolutely. I'm a waiter, after all. Not some street gossip monger.
Correct. And if you manage not to botch it up, you can even rise on the social ladder. Not just anyone can serve the King of Hungary, but you'll manage it, right?
I know everything I need to. I can do it.
Excellent. Put away your things here. It's easier to serve with a lighter load. You can wait in the cubbyhole for the servants.
Need of unversüchlich. Our current Waffenarsenal. Should the town reserve
There are the
have worse
pictures of
weapons
wine.
than any Räuber in the domain?
Hopefully I won't
What
splash
are you
anyone's
getting
shoes.
at, Eldris?
I'm saying that the
You there,
bandits who
lad,
freed
a
Hinnek,
cup of red.
the Dry Devil,
And don't you skip
used
on.
I
that
apologize,
thing.
sir.
That
Which way?
Hacken
Monastery red.
hand cannon. Can you believe it? Where did they get them?
You're the one who should know where they got them. Since you're a gunsmith.
What are you implying, Friedrich? All I'm saying is that they had them, Herrgott. It is eine Schande when outlaws have better weapons
Come now,
than the
waiter.
city
I
garrison.
wanted red.
And Herr König surely knows this too.
What is it, Eldris? You smell a deal?
Sir?
What I smell is that your stubborn heads do not realize
Thank
what
you.
Schwierigkeiten this is. The Dry Devil is running free. There are Raubritter everywhere in the region. We have the army bearing down, and you want to defend yourselves with a few rusty halberds.
And who is it you want to fight, exactly? The merciful King Sigismund is providing us with protection.
Waiter, get me
isn't he?
white.
Der König and his army will not be here forever.
That's not a good idea, sir.
Shut up!
This is
The king
unbelievable.
can arrive at any moment. What if he heard you?
What then? We're sitting atop the biggest
White Dove,
silver
pour me
heap in
some
the
monastery
kingdom,
wine.
and we're supposed to defend it with brooms?
You're right, Eldris. But where can we
I
get the
apologize,
coin
sir.
for better equipment?
Which wine?
You can always confiscate the property of the king's enemies, nicht wahr?
We are more than familiar with the jämmerlich state of our
Sir?
armory. And the king is surely aware of it as well. Maybe
Well,
if he
thank
waived
the
some
Lord.
of the taxes?
The king fears that this town will rise against him. He'll take the arming of the city's militia as a preparation for war.
So you suggest we just wait with arms crossed for the Raubritter to wreak havoc all around?
We can always ask the king to bring order to the realm with his army.
But then the Dörfler will rise up.
I'm afraid I see no solution of the current situation. We shall wait and see what His Majesty thinks about the matter. Maybe we can change his mind. Vielleicht?
I'd like to report to the Honorable Council on the cleanliness of the city and the state of the public baths.
You mean baths or brothels?
Isn't it the same thing?
So, the cleanliness of the city is not what it should be. The current baths
Hey,
in the city
waiter,
fall
pour
far
me some
short of
monastery
covering
wine.
all the citizens' needs.
You're right. We do have the new baths in Hopbrink, and Adam's old ones. But I hear the Hopbrink baths are more of a pigsty.
They still are a bit.
Monastery
But
wine.
the quality
Here.
went downhill at Adams, too.
Sir?
What? Pray tell. I thought you were
Well,
a frequent
thank the
customer there.
Lord.
Or has he grown tired of pampering you for free?
It's not about me at all. Our town's best interest. Betty's baths are considered the town baths. But let's not be fooled.
What do you mean?
The tax brings in some money for the town, yes. But it's still
More
just
wine,
a tax.
Master Bailiff.
And
I
what
have
else would you
enough
want?
wine. Come
If
closer.
the town itself took charge of it.
I need something from you. There is an item in my study that I confiscated from a female thief. She thought she could wriggle out of it by telling me who the item belongs to.
And what is it?
A silver goblet. She sneaked into Sir Ulrich's house and stole it. No one's noticed the theft yet. But if Ulrich finds out, he'll turn the city upside down to find the culprit. Go and get it. And don't you make a mess there, understand?
Certainly, sir. I'll be right back.
Come back with it straight away, understood?
People died needlessly.
Are you questioning God's plan? The Black Death had nothing to do with the baths, unless the Lord wishes to punish the wickedness that's going on in there.
Nice.
Keeping the city clean is important.
Whose silver might this be?
We don't have money to spare. Arguing about...
So, did you find it?
is a waste of...
I did, Master Bailiff. Here it is.
Not so loud. Show it here. That's it. And now go back to your job.
A trifle. Do you ever walk the streets here? Sewage, rats, slop, and rubbish. The least we can do for the citizens is to provide them with a place to wash up.
What nonsense! Next, you'll want me to serve wine to everyone for free, too.
Why not? In Jerome Nars's earthly paradise, everything would be free.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Gentlemen, let's agree to disagree. What if the king heard us?
I got word that Rutard has pulled off another deed.
That's nothing unusual. That old weasel will never accept that the city isn't run his way, at least until His Majesty honors us with his visit. And as we know, Gunslin absolutely hates him.
He can hate all he wants, as long as he
Tokai!
does no damage.
And a full cup.
Ulrich, what have you got to say about it?
Me? Well, I'm not sure what you're implying.
Horseshit! You know full well. Everybody knows. He wiped the floor with you.
Compose yourself, Adam,
Haven't we met
and stop drinking.
face
The
is
king might
familiar.
come any time now.
That's right.
I don't think so,
Let's
sir.
not burden the
I'm
anointed
sure I'd
monarch
remember.
with such-
Heavens.
Me?
Could I be mixing you up with someone
Compose
else?
myself.
Well, no matter.
Me?
Back to work with you.
I beg your pardon. I demand that you...
Ruhe! Franz, please continue.
I'm speaking about the Rutard incident. You were there, weren't you?
Oh, that. Just a small misunderstanding. We've sorted it out and everything's settled.
My ears must be deceiving me. Are you defending Rutard? Besides, if his men attacked yours, as I've heard, then we have a good reason to punish him.
What happened there? Leave nothing out.
I don't like Rutard.
Thank you,
true,
waiter.
but in this case, it really was nothing.
Everyone in the city gossiped about it. I heard there were several dead.
Did you? That's grossly exaggerated. I don't think Rutard will cause
Hey,
any
waiter.
trouble.
Pour
He
me
is
some
sensible enough not to draw attention to himself while the king is here.
That's true. Because if we don't do something about him, the
Sir?
king himself will put an end to him, and soon.
Unless he puts an end to us first. God knows what he wants to tell us.
If nothing happened, there's no point in dwelling on it. Let's move on.
Things have got out of order in the town. Some adventurers decided to take the law into their own hands and restore the tradition of duels. It's not only barbaric, but also illegal. I could understand it with mercenaries, students, and other scum of all kinds, but city councillors?
Be specific,
Hey,
Forsaker.
boy! A full
Are you
cup
blaming
of
one of
monastery
us?
wine.
Ah, and look who spoke first.
First of all, it wasn't a duel.
Sir?
Supposed to be an honorable combat. And I didn't even take
Don't
part in
hang
it.
around me.
And that's the
Vanish,
only
hear
reason
me?
you're still here on the council and not in the pillory.
If you want to blame somebody,
As you wish.
you should point the finger
Sir
at the
Ulrich.
youngster here who's...
Go!
Excuse
I don't
me?
want to see you again.
Never mind.
Hey!
I
boy,
suspect
a
the
word.
gentleman from the city's sword-fighting school brought this
Everything in
custom
order?
to us.
Not quite,
It's now run
but
by
I think
the
you might be able
German
to help me.
Menhard.
What can I help you with, sir?
I left my gloves in the chapel. I took them off to pray, but then I rushed here and forgot to take them. I can't just get up and walk out now. But if you disappear for a little while...
All right. I'll get them.
I knew I could count on you. While you're at it, count how many figures on the mural have wings.
But why?
Because I'm bored, and because I told you. Get on with it.
They're apparently settling accounts their own way. We'll soon be the laughingstock of the whole town.
You can rest
That was
assured
easy
the whole
enough,
town
and he
is
wants
already
me to
laughing
count
at
the
us
winged
all day
figures.
long. So what if they have one more reason?
My words exactly. The town...
So, let's see what you've got for me.
I found your gloves, sir.
Really? Let's see them. And did you count those winged figures?
I counted 16, sir.
And did you count all the monsters and animals?
Oh, I thought you meant only the angels.
Go back to serving wine, blockhead.
There's the eternal dispute over the cathedrals. The building of the church is dragging on, and in the meantime, they are calling diocesan pilgrimages to settlers, right under our noses. It's just a village with a monastery, and they are going to mock a royal mining city. Why can't we build faster? Hire more craftsmen, start
I'll have
with
a
night
cup
shifts.
of white.
Because those so-called craftsmen are a band of parasites. You pay them, they come late, or report sick.
Sir?
And if they do come, their work is shit, and you have
You,
to pay
lad.
someone else to
You
put
look
it
familiar
right.
to me.
It's
Have
a
we met?
waste
Well, naturally.
of time.
I go to
tell
your
you,
tavern
a
almost every
waste
day.
of time.
Really?
Adam,
Then
don't
you must
interrupt
have
the
decent
proceedings
wages to be able to visit the best
Ranting.
tavern in town regularly.
You are in the right. And as for you, Endelin, haven't you noticed there's a war going on? Are the experts from far off supposed to work in the city under siege?
Besides, I get the feeling there's something other than the welfare of the city behind your complaints.
Oh, you do? Do you?
Boy,
And what would
I'd
that
like some
be?
white.
Like, for instance, that you'd like to have your own altar there?
So what if I would?
Hold your horses, gentlemen. That
Sir?
space in the side nave is mine.
Then hell freezes over, my friend.
It's
Your
you?
place is at least
I
two
see
steps
you've come
behind
up in the
mine.
world.
A
From a
swordsmith
bathhouse
dares
boy
to
to a
insult
waiter.
me?
You'll
Ah,
go a long way.
I
One
think
day I'll
not.
be the bailiff here.
Excuse me.
Wait and see.
You wanted to buy yourself an altar in
You're
the
a merry
cathedral,
soul, lad.
just like you
I
bought
like
yourself
that.
a seat in this council.
How dare you? I acquired my seat for the services our guild provided and still provides to the crown.
Well, I hope you're not supplying equipment to the
Hey,
army.
waiter, pour me
If
some
that's all
Sky.
they have, they would be defeated by that bunch of ne'er-do-wells from the alehouse on Obrink.
What ne'er-do-wells?
Those wrestlers of theirs, of course. People from the whole town go to
Thank
watch
you,
them brawl.
waiter. Oh, this is news to me.
Because it has all been sorted out. Not long ago, the guards raided and threw them all out.
Ah, yes, I had forgotten. What do we have to discuss next?
I'm telling you, something is being planned.
Oh, I doubt it. No one's gonna tackle Rootard.
Azonal Gyurcsegössze, a legjobb katonákat, és elkinek útra!
have nothing to fear. Not you.
Like this plan of fives!
Come now, father. Put a little life into your dying. Seen more cheerful priests at funerals.
I'd rather be at one than here. I hoped I'd never see this fortress again in my life.
Unpleasant memories?
You have no idea. I didn't part ways with my father on entirely good terms. 20 years ago.
And now you're 2 decades older and wiser. At your Ujit's parish, you spread the word of God to your flock, and you saved my neck and Henry's too. I'd say your father should be proud of you.
None of that matters a damn to him.
Who knows? Maybe that 20 years has changed a thing or two.
You know what? Let's drop the subject. Do you know any of the guests here?
Most of them I'm seeing for the first time in my life. It's a pretty varied company. We've had bandits, nobles, burghers, a priest, and even a rabbi coming together here. It's like the start of some joke.
Wait a moment. Rabbi, you say? The Kuttenberg rabbi?
Yeah. He came with a retinue. But for now, they keep him mostly to themselves. Maybe you should go and welcome some of them. After all, this used to be your home. And you're a spiritual man too, so you should have something in common.
I wouldn't be too sure. But I suppose I can try. Who's that French fellow you brought here from Malashov?
The great Baron Brabant. Been everywhere, knows everything, and has the keys to half the kingdom. He's got more fairy tales than my old nanny.
Can he be trusted?
He's a blabbermouth, but a harmless one. Besides, he defended Kuttenberg, and you know how that went. If he were on Sigismund's side, he'd hardly have been locked up with me.
How does it feel to breathe free air again?
What can I say? You can never truly appreciate freedom until someone locks you up for a while.
Or until you become a priest.
No fear of that in my case. I intend to enjoy life to the full. Wine, women, and song.
What do you plan to do now you're a free man again?
What do you think? Get drunk, woo one of the local wenches, and wake up in the morning with no hose and a head like a church bell.
Have you perchance forgotten we're supposed to be deciding the future of the kingdom here?
I'll leave that to the older and wiser. And duller.
Dear me. I'd rather creep off into some corner with a full wineskin. But I suppose I'll have to introduce myself to the rest of the guests, eh?
Indeed you should. After all, you are one of the lords of Rabosh.
Oh, don't start with that. I'd like to steer clear of the old man as long as I can.
In that case, you should sound out Radzig and Hanush and find out what they're actually planning.
Such rare guests. One wouldn't expect to find among Christians representatives of your community. I'm Godwin. My greetings to you.
Peace be with you. Neither would one expect a priest here. And yet...
How do you know I'm a priest?
It's not difficult to tell. After all, we have much in common. And we are both a little on unfamiliar ground here. I'm Yehuda, leader of the rabbinical court in the sacred community of Gutenberg. And this is Samuel, my aide.
Who would rather not be here at all. Why did we have to come here, Sadie? Can you not see everyone is staring at us?
Because we all need to help each other in this time of need. And why would they not stare when you are frowning so?
Are you here to arrange some trade?
We have more serious matters to attend to here than gaining a few groschen. The situation in the town and the kingdom is unsustainable. The whole land is on the brink of destruction. You have men and weapons. We have the means to sustain them.
Why are you telling this to a Koimer? You wanted to deliver what we brought to the Margrave and quickly leave.
Everything in good time, Samuel. We have just arrived, after all.
Did you come to lend money to the lords?
Not to lend, but to give. Help given to the needy is repaid only by God.
You don't even know if you can trust them. With that money, we could have paid mercenaries ourselves.
You remind me of my young friend Henry. He's a bit of a hothead too.
Henry? That messenger of Radzig Copula?
You know each other. You're both around the same age.
That would be him. But we did not get off to a very good start.
Well, maybe you'll get to know each other better. He should be coming here later, by the way. For a young stripling, he's been through plenty. It's not so long since his parents were killed in Skalitz. He was supposed to become a blacksmith, and instead, he's roaming the world, risking his neck at every turn.
Wait, a blacksmith, you say? From Skalitz?
Aye, that's right. Did you know anyone there?
I knew of someone. A blacksmith by the name of Martin.
My daughter knew him most, and that is why Samuel is in this world. For our numerous sins.
Maybe he was my father, but he certainly didn't act like one. Ma raised me on her own.
And that was all for the best.
Why? He should have taken care of me, but instead he fathered another bastard.
Don't make hasty judgments. As far as I know, Martin didn't have any other children. At least, none of his own. He took in Henry, and raised him as his own, on the orders of the Lord of Skalitz, Sir Radzig Copula, Henry's real father.
I don't care if he took care of 20 other mamsas.
That boy's blood father denied him, just like yours did to you.
A person can't choose their parents. And Henry only found out about it recently.
Enough. I'd rather have a drink. Will you have one too, Zayde?
For that, there will be more suitable times.
Excuse me. I'd better not drink.
Better communion wine than kosher, is it?
Everything all right? You look a bit out of sorts.
I can't wait for it to end so we can get out of here.
I reckon you'd have to be pretty brave to come and mingle with the Kuttenberg lords.
Or pretty pissed off.
Or that.
We will leave as soon as we can. Anyway, all of these worthy gentlemen will be relieved when we are out of sight.
Would you tell me something about your community? I haven't found out much so far.
What can I tell you? It was never exactly glorious. And now especially, everyone is quaking that what is still left to us will be taken away.
Surely it won't be that bad.
There are many fools who would rather take out their gall on us and start to fight among themselves. In times of uncertainty, it is always the sons of Israel who are the first to be stricken.
glad you finally accepted my invitation. I almost lost all hope.
It's not that I didn't want it.
Good health to you, sir. I'm Godwin, a friend of that lad you arrived with, Henry. We don't know each other.
Baron Vauquelin Brabant, Chevalier d'Arezzo. The last of my line. I am a warrior, a traveler, a strategist, and also, à ma manière, a poet.
My word. Isn't that exhausting?
Mais non! And I'm glad to meet a new friend.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Baron. I knew right away we'd hit it off. How did you end up imprisoned in Malashov?
Ah, c'est une histoire compliquée. It was after I heroically led the defense of Gothenburg, and only lost it narrowly by an unfortunate turn of events.
That needs some explanation. What unfortunate turn of events?
Oh, misère. It is clear you have never been to war.
So, be so kind as to enlighten me.
When they broke through the defense, I ended up in captivity. It was only due to my acquaintances in a court that I escaped execution.
Oh? I thought it was Henry who saved your neck.
My neck was not at risk in Malashov. I may have still been a prisoner with my personal freedom restricted, but they never broke my spirit.
You say you're a poet? How about a verse or two to amuse us?
Jamais. Is poetry nothing but a fuss to you? Is a poet a gesture for amusement? I think not. To recite, I require the proper mood. And besides, few here would understand me.
Where have you been on your travels? Have you seen the ocean?
But of course! I was born by the sea. If you are interested in my greatest journeys, then I have traveled with a merchant caravan all the way to the Ottoman Empire. And if you are interested in my greatest deed, then that was perhaps saving the life of the King of France.
And you wouldn't by any chance know the Pope, personally?
Which one do you mean? I spoke briefly with Boniface IX when I was sojourning in Rome. A pleasant fellow.
How come almost nobody here knows you?
I am operating, as they say. Incognito. My great benefit is my strong connection with the French court. There, everyone knows my name. Here in Bohemia, I'm still building my reputation, slowly, but surely.
Dear friends and allies, in these troublesome times, you all know why we're here. The question remains, what to do next? Sigismund is facing troubles in Hungary, and here, too, he is up against resistance. He's a capable strategist, but a poor diplomat. Mark my words. If we wait him out until winter, he will leave of his own accord.
By winter, he'll have torched all our fortresses and carried off everything that we possess. Are we seriously gonna wait and cower in a corner? Or are we gonna drive them out in shame? A few well-planned raids and we could have him in our fists!
At what price? Have you got men to spare? Has any of you got men and money to spare?
We don't have men out there.
Yes, we do.
We do not.
Jobst is right. That horse son won't fall easily.
Only we can't wait.
Are we to get ourselves killed?
Or end with nothing?
Friends, we'll get nowhere like this. Let's adjourn ourselves and try to think it through.
as expected. Good health. And to yours. Could it have gone any other way when there's so many of us here? I would have expected a bit more sense from Jobst, of all people. He made an amateur's mistake. But it's hard to be angry with him when he's trying to ingratiate himself with everyone. By the way, I'm John of Liechtenstein. And you must be Godwin, the son of... That's not a thing I've ever boasted of. How do you know that? I have my sources. From what I've heard about you, I'd judge you could be quite useful to me at today's gathering. Is that so? Indeed. And that's why I'd like to ask something of you. It depends what it's all about. A little delicate diplomacy. I expect we can agree that Jobst's plan has certain shortcomings. That's a weak word. And the way it stands at the moment, he'll never get the support of the council. But I have an idea how to change that. Well, I'm curious how you hope to shut Zizka up and satisfy the ones who want peace. We'll sit and wait quietly until Sigismund withdraws of his own volition, as Jobst proposes, but we'll be waiting in the military camp of our huge new army. When Sigismund sees that, he'll be off to Hungary all the sooner. At a gallop. Exactly. Sigismund's army is demoralized and weakened. And besides, he's running out of resources. He's able to tackle fortresses that aren't able to defend themselves, but he won't engage in equal force on the battlefield. But he can't retreat either. That would be a disgrace. And that's exactly why we'll wait until he's called back to Hungary by events there. For the plan to work, we need allies, their money and their determination. We've already set the ground for it. We just need negotiators who will push the right people in the right direction. Are you saying you set everything in motion even before Jobst? More like in parallel, but without his knowledge. If we find support and make it look like the whole thing was his idea, we'll all win. Why are you doing all this anyway? Because I want to put a stop to the senseless deaths. And also because I'm happier with Wenceslas on the Bohemian throne. You've got an interesting way of approaching things. You're certainly not the first to tell me that. I take it as a compliment. I'll help you. What exactly should I do? I'll give you 3 names. Botchek of Kunstadt, Hamann Alder, and Anna of Waldstein. If you can get those 3 on our side, we've won the day. Meanwhile, I'll take care of Jobst. What if it doesn't work? I refuse to even consider that outcome. Because it would mean slow, but certain defeat for all of us. Why me, of all people? Because you've got a head on your shoulders. You know how to talk, and you're not just out for your own good. You and your friend Henry are similar in that respect. That's why I know I can count on you both. There aren't many like you two left. Tell me a bit more about those people, so I know who I'm dealing with. Certainly. Who do you want to start with? Botchek of Kunststadt. I know the name, but I can't quite place him. That's just the thing. He's got massive estates, great influence, but he holds back. He doesn't play the big game, because he doesn't like to take risks. He always goes for the sure thing. But once he's made his mind up, not even a pair of oxen will hold him back.
Greetings to you, friend.
Alder the Alderman. Wasn't he a Kuttenberg councillor? He still is. The only one who retained his position after the city was taken. Only he's here, instead of cozying up with Sigismund in Kuttenberg. So his days in the council are numbered. But he'll continue to have a strong influence on the guilds and the rich burghers. And that's why we need him. Anna of Waldstein. The widow of that rich mine owner. What was his name? Wenzel Bartosz. And I'm not surprised you forgot. I was quite surprised to see her here. Assemblies like this are more of a male affair? So far, Godwin, so far.
Anna is holding back and behaving like an exemplary young widow. But don't trust appearances. She's got claws, she knows how to do her sums, and she certainly has no love lost for Sigismund.
And what use can she be to us? Apart from her late husband's money, of course.
She's as sharp as they come when it comes to trade, and she knows a thing or two about diplomacy. There are wicked tongues that claim Bartosz acquired most of his wealth thanks to her, and that it was thanks to her that he died, too.
I'll get on it then. Wish me luck.
I wish us both luck. Before the day is over, the die will be cast.
Success to our plans.
I'll tell you, nobody has the likes of these.
Not even Bocek?
Not even Bocek.
I'd like to check your horses out and see if they're as good as you say.
Pah, even better. But you won't believe it until you see for yourself.
And you might not believe your eyes when you do see them. Well, well, we have a new guest.
I wanted to...
You wanted to apologize for crashing into my home without it by your leave. Or to arrest my guests some more?
I want to have a word with Older.
Well, I'm having a word with you.
I apologize, Father.
For interrupting our conversation? Or just for being you?
Is that your...
Unfortunately. Speak up then. What are you doing here?
I came with a delegation from Sir Hanush of Lipa.
Is this a joke?
Why so strict, Martin?
20 years ago, he was nothing but a cheeky brat, only interested in wenches and booze. I got him a place at the Archbishopry to have some sense beaten into his head. Only it wasn't long before they kicked him out. And then I find out he's settled in some backwater parish in Sassau. But he took his boozing and whoring along with him, lost everything, and then came creeping home again. Huh?
Try saying it again a little louder. They might not have heard you in the outer courtyard.
You have the impertinence to show me your face after the way you disgraced our whole family?
I wouldn't set foot here if I had a choice. Better to be a priest in some backwater than have a father like you.
How dare you?
You're as shit a father as I am a son. We've got nothing to blame each other for. And now let me speak to Older.
You're dishonoring your host.
I can't dishonor someone who has no honor. If you had any, you'd be...
That's enough.
Christopher.
You won't get away with those insults. I challenge you to a duel.
I'm not happy about it, but I accept. This isn't how I imagined my first meeting with my brother.
Make room for us. We'll just settle a very private matter. It's an honorable duel, man against man. Stay back. Did they teach you that in the seminary?
Left arm lower!
Sacre! You're fast. Bad luck. You're fast.
Look in my eye! Hey. Not at my
taught you
sword!
Hey, who taught you that? Not bad for a
Swing
priest.
with your whole arm, not just your
Huck.
wrist!
You. Did they teach you that in the seminary? That was sneaky.
You don't know which end of that thing is...
Take that!
Lower your right
a gap there I can drive the cart through?
Sacre! You're fast.
Stand firm! Otherwise, the first strike will put you on your arse!
Sneaky. Kurva! I'm wounded. Not bad for a priest.
What's wrong with your legs?
Ha! No, big. Enough. That will do. My God. Where did you learn to wield a sword like that? Father always said you were a good-for-nothing boozer. But you could teach sword fighting in a school.
I was in a war. Right after they kicked me out of the archbishopric. And you ought to know yourself. Not all the faults that Father sees are real.
Aye. Well, I apologize for going off like that. I had to, so that...
So Father would be satisfied. I know. Only he'll never be satisfied. The sooner you realize that, the better.
I thought he was the way he was because his first son let him down. And he hoped at least his second would become something.
Not at all. I remember him the same since I was a nipper. When I was 6 years old, I fell off a horse and broke my leg. He wouldn't talk to me for a week because I'd let him down.
The first time he took me hunting, he let me starve for 3 days until I was able to shoot my first hare.
Only 3 days? He got soft.
I always wondered who you were. There was never much talk about you at home.
Look, I really did fuck up everything I could. I brawled and boozed until they threw me out of my own parish. But now, I have a chance to put things to rights a little.
And that's why you want to talk to Alder.
Aye. The outcome of this war depends on it.
That sounds very important, considering you and Alder are both pretty small players. After your encounter with Father, it won't be easy to get to Alder. Actually, I don't think you should even attempt it. Unless you want to anger Father even more.
What else can I do, though?
I'll talk to him myself. He'll hear me out for sure. But you'll have to trust me and tell me what it's all about.
All right, then. You've heard Yob's plan, right? It's a nice idea, but we can't wait around without an army to back us up.
Only no one's going to pay for one, because that would be an outright admission of rebelling against Sigismund.
Alder's got some clout with the councillors and burghers who are loyal to Sigismund. If he agrees, they'll follow.
I expect Alder's not the only one you're after.
You got that right.
Leave Alder to me. The plan sounds sensible, and he's no fool.
I don't know how to thank you.
You can drag me to a tavern sometime. Pa doesn't need to know about it.
You're starting to sound like a brother.
Godwin, you wouldn't be avoiding me. We didn't have much time for conversation on the way here. Let's rectify that.
With pleasure, sir. As it happens, there's something I'd like to ask you. What are you expecting from today's gathering, my lord?
Well, I have no great expectations. But, all going well, we may be able to establish some joint steps towards the future. As long as we proceed without prior agreement and mutual support, we will be very unlikely to achieve any progress.
I couldn't help but notice your son has a bit of a talent for getting into trouble.
To put it mildly, but not to do him an injustice, knowing young Lord Capon, he undoubtedly contributed to that more than a little. Although, if they didn't pull each other out of trouble, God knows where they'd be now.
Wise words. Still, Henry's come a long way on a thorny path. I trust you're rightfully proud of him.
You know, I am. And Martin would also be glad, even though Henry chose a different path than he.
May God grant him eternal rest. Where did you leave Sir Divish? Surely he's not too old to miss out on such an event.
Haven't you heard? Lady Stephanie is with child. No one even imagined Divish would produce an heir at his age.
As they say, it doesn't matter who kneaded the dough, as long as there's a pie in the oven.
Godwin.
Well, it could be a miracle. Praise the Lord! May I have a word with you, sir?
You? Anytime. With you, at least, there's some sensible conversation. Unlike this pack of conceited upstarts.
Have you got something against the Kuttenberg nobles?
Their forefathers lived up to their ears in dung. But thanks to the royal mines, they were born with silver spoons up their asses. And they think that can turn their blood blue.
But surely they're not all like that. And they are our allies.
Allies or not, someone ought to show them their place.
Young Lord Capon is finally free again. Let's hope he'll take better care of himself now.
He got a harsh lesson. But at least he might remember to lay off that tomfoolery of his for a while. But if not, war will make a man of him soon enough.
Do you think there's really going to be a war? I mean a proper one, not just sitting around and talking about it.
I sincerely hope so. Whoever sits around risks nothing. It's time to get off our asses and take action.
What do you think about Jobst?
Are you testing me? Jobst called this assembly and he wants things to turn out well. We have to trust him.
To turn out well for whose benefit, though? Some are up to their elbows in silver and blood, so others can live in freedom.
Better make sure you're among the latter, then. And in the meanwhile, help the former to keep their losses to a minimum. Take a look at that. A nightingale. Setting the stage for his final performance. I hope there'll be no singing.
And that's only why we mustn't push too far.
Nothing worth mentioning. Patricians and
To
users.
your health, my friend.
They're without.
We're trying to forge an alliance.
You seem a bit out of sorts. Anything wrong?
Oh, these grand aristocratic assemblies are nothing for me. I'd be happier if they just told me in the morning how it all went and what my boys have to do next.
But then you'd miss all the grub and the booze, and the gossip.
Oh, and have you heard anything interesting here?
It seems Liechtenstein's looking for allies. For his own ends.
And how's he gonna do it? Didn't you see them all fighting tooth and nail here just a while ago?
Well, different approaches work with different people.
The only approach that'll work with Sigismund is open resistance. Maybe on the field of battle?
Let's hope young Lord Capon manages to stay free for a while longer. Ever since leaving Rattay, he's gone from one pile of trouble to another.
That's one thing you can always count on him for. I'll gladly wager with you he'll end up in some other shit by evening.
God forbid. Henry's not here now to pull him out of it.
In that case, it'll be up to you. I'm sure you wouldn't leave him to disgrace himself in front of Hanush.
A lot of people think the wealthy burghers will stick with Sigismund, whether out of fear or convenience.
Well, that's to be expected. As long as Sigismund has the city council under his thumb, no one will rock the boat.
Well, at least there's a few individuals here, like Ruthard.
Sigismund confiscated his castle and half his estates. That'd be enough to make a man mad. Not to mention that his son was killed in the siege of the city.
Sir Bocek, I need to speak with you for a moment.
A man hardly puts his cup to his lips and someone comes along to put a flea in his ear. Jobst comes up with a plan as full of holes as a beggar's shoes, and now you're all jostling to win me over for him.
On the contrary, I've come here with an idea how to improve it.
Does that improvement include a few thousand men-at-arms? If not, you can go to the devil with it.
A few thousand men-at-arms has a convincing argument. And 100 horsemen on top. Only in order to get them, we need coin.
You've got my attention, but not my money yet.
How can I persuade you?
I need guarantees of security. I don't want to end up like Rutard.
Of course. Once it comes to protecting property, ideals go out the window.
You can talk, since you haven't got a pot to piss in yourself. If you were in my position, you'd think differently. I have a lot of property, lots of subjects to look after, and along with that, the Lord blessed me with a large family. I can't risk it all in a conflict with Sigismund.
So you need guarantees that you won't be left standing in the cold if you openly oppose Sigismund?
My guarantee is called Yitka. She's my niece. If I succeeded in marrying her off to another strong house, I'll have the certainty that I won't be left alone.
Maybe it's enough to find a suitable groom among the allies.
Perhaps someone of suitable standing who Yitka would also gladly accept. I don't want her to be unhappy.
I believe Liechtenstein is single.
And an uncertain party. Besides, he's inconvenient for Sigismund. Yitka could end up being a pawn to blackmail both of us.
I'd be honored to oblige. I'm in my prime.
Forget about it. Even if by some miracle you could manage to sire children, you'd die before you could raise them.
The truth doesn't offend, my lord. But I had to give it a try. How about young Lord Capon?
He's a youngster still.
What's wrong with him? He's young, he's handsome, women are fighting over him. Yitka will like him, and he'll give her a whole bunch of children.
And to half the wenches in his domain too, eh? On the other hand, the lords of Lipa have a good reputation, and Hanush can always be relied on, despite his temper. Maybe it's not such a bad idea.
I'll convey your offer to Lord Capon. If he agrees, we can celebrate our lives.
I don't care what the young lord thinks. Hanush is the one to decide. If he agrees, I'll be happy to support your plan.
Pushing a friend to tie the knot to save the kingdom. Things have come to a pretty pass.
The kingdom will not forget his sacrifice. Now stop dilly-dallying and go and tell Hanush.
Sir Hanush, I bring happy tidings.
You do? Let's hear it then.
I've gained us a powerful ally.
And who is it? I hope it's not one of those Kuttenberg stuffed guts.
On the contrary, it's Bocek, the Elder of Kunstadt and Podjebrad.
Kunstadt? By Christ, he's the last one I'd have expected to step up. How the hell did you do it?
Well, there's one little catch. I had to promise him... I don't even know how to begin.
Out with it.
Lord Kunstadt has a niece, so... I arranged a betrothal for young Lord Capon, with your blessing if you agree.
Hans Capon is to marry Yitka of Kunstadt. Godwin, you conniving old bastard!
Oh, fuck.
I don't believe it. So, young Hans is to marry Kunstadt's daughter?
Niece.
If you're serious, I'll make sure that you get the Rattay parish.
Or you could make me the abbot of Sassa. Or what about a bishopric?
Forget it. Soon I'll be paying for a wedding. Not a word to Hans. I want to tell him myself. But let's drink to it, shall we?
Cheers!
Cheers to you, and to your parleying skills.
Mighty.
Maybe we mustn't push too hard.
Sir Bocek, your niece Yitka can start preparing for her wedding.
So Hanush agreed, without reservations.
Indeed.
Then I will fulfill my end of the bargain without reservation.
Thank you, Lord of Kunstad.
Enough formality. We'll have a drink. What do you say?
Cheers to the beautiful Lady Yitka and the unhappy Lord Caitlin.
Here's to a good bargain.
We'll see who Simon would, and one person might need.
God be with you, noble lady. There's something I'd like to ask of you.
God be with you. What would that be?
Your diplomatic support. And your money.
No beating around the bush, eh? I like that. But what do you want my money for?
Margrave Yob's plan has some gaps, milady. We need to gather enough resources to...
To muster an army that Margrave can't afford on his own?
Christ. Be praised. You're astute.
I should say so. All sorts of people have their eyes on my money, and divining their intentions is a necessity. Although, between the two of us, it isn't hard to figure out what Liechtenstein is after.
How do you know Liechtenstein's behind it?
I know most of the people here very well. Many of them certainly have doubts about the Margrave's plans. But they wouldn't dream of stating them aloud. While it seems that Lord Liechtenstein, on the contrary, sees his opportunity.
I'd say you have a better nose for people than most of this crowd.
Not only for people, but also for good food and wine. And beneficial deals.
Then you're in the right place. This occasion provides all of those things.
The wine here is average. The cooks lack imagination. And I have yet to hear any interesting offers. So, to the point. What is it that Liechtenstein wants from me?
Nothing more than support and resources for an army to parley more effectively with Sigismund.
Nothing more? I'd say that's plenty. And why ask me for help? Why should I, of all people, take the risk?
You manage large estates. In return for your generosity, we offer you protection.
I've managed quite well up to now, taking care of my own resources. If you want me to support you, you must give me a good reason. Perhaps a favor in return.
Do you have something in particular in mind?
Well, one of the guests here has something that shouldn't get into the wrong hands.
Who's that?
Harmon Alder. Now, if you were to switch these papers for the ones he brought with him, I would support your proposal.
Have you fallen out with the Town Councillor?
No. Alder is innocent in the matter. My relatives from the House of Bartosz are behind it all. They're disappointed that I dared outlive my husband, and the fact that I'm handling his estates makes their hair stand on end.
And these papers I'm supposed to switch, what do they concern?
My relatives somehow dug up some trade contracts between myself and certain undesirable parties.
You were dealing with the enemy.
They were not the enemy at the time. My conscience is clear, but I'll rest easier when those papers are in my hands.
I'm supposed to rob an ally.
Harmon Alder was given the documents to deliver to the council. He hasn't yet had a chance to look at them, so he won't even notice the difference.
And the papers I'm supposed to plant on Alder?
Just insignificant documents. If the incriminating ones disappeared without a trace, it would arouse suspicion.
All right, I'll help you. Or at least I'll give it a try.
Alder will surely have the papers in his saddlebags, which he left in the shed on the outer courtyard. Bring them to me, and put these there instead. But watch yourself. Odorim's groom has eyes everywhere.
What's up? What brings you here?
Be careful with those groschen, my friend.
I've got those papers from Alder for you.
Quiet! You don't have to announce it to everyone.
Milady, with all the clamor going on here, I can hardly hear my own thoughts. Here they are.
You're more capable than I expected. Thanks for the help.
You're welcome. And now you're part of the bargain.
As agreed. I will support Liechtenstein's proposal with both words and money.
Thank you, noble lady. God will...
Yes, quite. But let's drink to our bargain, Godwin.
I'd like to, but I'm afraid I've had more than my fill already. I wouldn't want to cause a scandal.
Wise. No matter, I shall drink a toast alone. But to your health.
I've got some good news and some bad news for you.
The bad news is there's hardly any females in this whole damned place. There's some old bat standing there with 2 young girls, but she watches over them like a mother hen. So at least tell me the good news.
Actually, never mind.
At least the wine here is decent. Cheers!
To your health.
You mean you managed to convince someone influential?
Not at all. I managed nothing. But I have found someone who could pull a thorn out of our side and get some influential people to join our cause.
And who is this secret envoy of yours? I'm still hoping it works out and we walk out of here with a clear plan.
Gentlemen, I think we can raise our goblets to the successful conclusion of the negotiations.
Is this supposed to be your secret weapon?
Like I said, miracles happen where you least expect them. Tell me, Godwin of the House of Odorin, what news do you bring us?
I bring nothing from the House of Odorin. But the widow of Waldstein and Sir Bocek of Kunstadt will support our cause.
Both of them? Good heavens, what did you promise them?
This is going to be a long story, and I could use a drink. So if you'll excuse me, my lords?
It would seem that we have all benefited from the break in these proceedings. New alliances have been formed. And I have also changed my plans. We shall still wait for Sigismund to withdraw his troops of his own accord. But we will wait with an army at our backs.
Yes! And how are we to raise an army? Wasn't it made clear at the meeting that no one wants to take the risk?
The only thing made clear was that each of us alone is weak, and that we could not find common ground. But that has now changed.
King Wenceslas is, by the will of God, the balbatim of all his subjects. Not only the Christians, our community, and not only ours, will give you coin.
The Kuttenberg houses are still loyal to King Wenceslaus, and we stand with Lord Ruthard.
And if that's not enough, the houses of Leipa and Kunstadt will unite and march side by side.
My niece, Yitka, will take young Lord Capon as her husband.
Lords Kunstadt, Hanush, Radzig, and I will set out immediately God willing, we will be back within 3 weeks, along with an army.
Now those are words worthy of a nobleman.
My friend, I still believe that words are more powerful than swords. And our words will ring in 1,000 voices to the glory of King Wenceslas.
After we conquered the city, you promised to restore order immediately. And then I find out things are even more disordered than before.
Your Majesty, we are sorry. We will put it to rights.
You've already said that. I want to hear real solutions.
We will put more guards on the roads and toughen penalties. We can have a few captured bandits executed as an example to others.
We do not care about bandits. We care about rebellious nobles and burghers. What will you do with them? How will you solve the chaos in the town administration, the rebellious miners, and the dismal yields? And how is it even possible that a rebellion against the king is smoldering here in the city?
What do you mean, sire?
I hear the resistance is coming from the Jewish quarter, from right under your noses. Why haven't you done anything?
We don't know who is behind this. Without evidence, we cannot punish them.
Otto von Berghoff did not ask questions in Prague either. He acted. And I advise you to do the same. Find a couple of wretches in a hole somewhere, point them to the Jewish quarter, and give them free rein to do anything. The city's Jewish community was and still is on Wenceslas' side. They need a warning.
We do not even have enough men to...
Marquardt, could you spare a few men for a while?
Of course, sire. I'll assign them to Eric. He'll take care of it.
So you see, all you have to do is make sure the city rebel get their share. You could at least manage that, couldn't you? And if the thought should cross your minds that you would get rid of the debts to the Jewish moneylenders this way, forget about it. Your debts will remain, up to the last groschen. Only now you owe us directly. And while we are on the subject of money, has the yield from the mines finally matched last year's?
Sire, the deposits are dwindling, and mining is becoming increasingly difficult. And to make matters worse, the miners started rebelling.
Don't take us for a fool. They'll stop rebelling when you pay them proper wages.
Your Majesty, we can't do that.
Silence! How dare you oppose the kingdom's protector? You're a bunch of incompetent sycophants! Chicken shits! Not any better than the scum hiding in the forest.
And drunks! Give them hell! Lazy fools, the lot of them.
How dare you?
Some of you are even swelling right here in the city council meeting. This is unbelievable.
Remove this swillpot from the hall immediately.
I'm telling the truth. This whole council is a farce. The whole city knows it.
Lord of Sargitz, your insolence just cost you your place on the council, and a month in the dungeon.
But...
Hopefully that'll be enough for him to sober up. And if not, put him in the pillory for a while, bailiff.
I'll see to it as soon as the council is over, Your Majesty.
All I hear from you over and over again are excuses and prevarication. And results? None. I therefore placed the city council under the authority of Sir Marquardt von Aulitz, who is present here, with immediate effect. He will make sure you finally do your duty.
But, sire, that would be a violation of the privileges granted to us as a free mining town.
Silence! I am the only guarantor of your rights. You have to earn your privileges, not hide behind them. During my brother's reign, this idleness was perhaps tolerated. But that is over now. You were given a few simple tasks. But instead of working on them, you idled in the baths and lined your pockets. And let the traitors cast their nets undisturbed. But unlike my brother, I am capable of creating order. And I assure you, I do not distinguish between those who stand in my way. Be they beggars, noblemen, or city councillors. You have 2 weeks to restore order in the city and increase mining output. I want clear results, and you answer only to me and Sir Marquardt von Aulitz now. No one else. The council is dismissed. You, don't go anywhere, boy. Be so kind and remain here. Our throat has become rather dry. And we still wish to speak with our friend von Aulitz.
Yes, sire. As you wish, sire.
Between the two of us, Marquardt, was I not perhaps too harsh on them? And speak candidly. We have had enough of false flattery.
Sire, you were harsh, but rightfully so. These councillors, they need to be shown their place. You suffered their insolence for far too long. And the same is true of the Jews.
We know. Otto repeated to us several times that it is time to strike against them. We are glad he's not here. He would be intolerably self-satisfied if he knew we had heeded him.
Boy, can't you see the king's cup is empty?
You tend to us as if we were infirm. Boy, pour us a monastic wine. The monks had a good year. We have concerns, friend. The Hungarians are rebelling. Our army is falling apart, and we have enemies here on all sides. Would we had a proper army instead of human mercenaries? They cannot be relied upon. And we are no closer to our goal now than a few months ago. Thank you. It is a good year. If our father were still alive, he would have been astonished by the mess that a few years of Wenceslas' reign brought to us. With a single word, he would have put the nobility in their place, and the country would flourish. God grant him eternal glory.
We won't need much more time. We'll arrest the traitor Odorin, and the rest will fall in line.
You say the others will be brought into line, but what do you know of them? We know only a few of them. But there's a fortress standing on every damn hill here. What side are their lords on?
We'll find out soon enough, sire.
If only Wenceslas were not such a stubborn ass, and relinquished that throne that he has no use for anyway. The nobility, on the other hand, found a ruler like him very useful. They made a puppet out of him.
Once you restore order, they'll join you. All you have to do is promise them the privileges they lost during Wenceslas' reign.
First, they'd have to be willing to make peace at least among themselves. Jobst does everything he can to sow chaos, so that he himself emerges victorious in the end. This business makes me thirsty. Pour me some of that red, boy.
I think Jobst is just waiting for the right moment. He'll switch sides when it suits him.
Maybe. But first I'll have to conquer a few more cities. And get a couple more lords on my side. Then they take the threat of war seriously. And Hungary. If Bohemia is a wasp's nest, then Hungary is a viper's lair.
You will follow in his footsteps, sire, as soon as you get the chance.
But the wine is good. To your health. And to your health too, boy. May your children grow in the land ruled by a good king.
Thank you, sire. You are too magnanimous.
Why? You did a good job. You can be proud of yourself.
To your health, your majesty.
First, we need to crack down on the biggest troublemakers.
We're working on it. While the council was meeting, Otto von Berghoff and his men set out for Raposh. Alderin won't give you any more trouble.
He and Ruthard are in it together. Once we get Oderin, we can handle Ruthard easily. Rabosh will be yours. After all, Otto has already got Malishov.
I appreciate your confidence, sire.
But the devil knows there are a lot more strongholds to conquer here.
For the king, red wine, boy.
No. We shall have white. We have had enough of red.
White it is. Quickly! If Raposh falls, others will follow.
I think von Berghoff's little contraption will find its use again.
If need be, we could use it to raise this town hall too. And I have some suggestions for other candidates.
Not so fast, my friend. It's a wondrous tool, but we can't rely on it forever.
But to bring it here to the square and point it at the city hall? Those sycophants would only benefit from a warning like that.
It's a splendid idea, but it won't be necessary. The councillors are quite fearful enough already that they can hide nothing from us.
There's been enough fretting, sire. You shall see. Soon we will drink to the conquest of another fortress.
You are right. So then, to victory. And you, boy, will you drink with us? So that you shall have something to tell your children and grandchildren.
To victory, sire.
To today's, and those of the future.